We all have goals we strive for. Maybe it's a corner office, a loving family, or a deep sense of personal accomplishment. But sometimes it feels like those dreams are out of reach. What if there was a way to tap into our hidden potential and make those aspirations a reality? Well, there is. The key is to develop the right habits. One of the most influential self-help books, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, provides a roadmap for doing just that. Success comes from following good principles. Imagine you're in a new city for the first time. The streets are unfamiliar, and the signs are in a language you don't understand. How will you find your way? You could ask someone for directions. They might tell you to turn right or take a certain bus, but eventually, you will probably get lost again. A better solution would be to get a map. With a clear view of your surroundings, you can find your own way, no matter where you are. Life works in a similar way. While small tips or tricks might help in the short term, it's far more powerful to understand guiding principles and develop habits around them. The personality ethic versus the character ethic. Stephen Covey studied 200 years of self-help advice and found 2 main approaches to success. The first is called the personality ethic. This view says that success comes from learning techniques or skills. If you speak or act a certain way, you'll reach your goals. While this advice can be tempting, it often leads to shallow, temporary changes. The second approach is the character ethic. This view is built on deeper, universal principles that don't change depending on the situation. These principles are things like honesty, fairness, and empathy. If you align your character with these timeless truths, you'll achieve lasting success. How this works in real life. Let's say you want a better relationship with your spouse. The personality ethic might suggest learning a new communication style or taking a vacation together. These things can help, but they won't lead to deep, lasting change. On the other hand, the character ethic encourages you to work on yourself. It tells you to become the kind of person who naturally has a happy marriage, someone who practices fairness, empathy, and trust. Of course, building this inner character isn't easy. To do so, you need to change how you see the world and how you approach challenges. It's not about quick fixes, it's about developing good habits that are in line with strong, guiding principles. In the end, real success comes from the inside out. By cultivating habits based on solid principles, you can navigate life confidently and achieve your goals. Take control of how you respond to the world. Here's a question people have pondered for centuries: what makes you who you are? Some say it's genetics, our DNA shapes our lives. Others believe it's how we were raised by our parents. Still, some argue that our environment and circumstances define us. But none of these answers tells the full story. They all make it seem like we're powerless, completely controlled by outside forces. Highly effective people know better. They understand that while we can't control everything, we can always control ourselves. And that brings us to the first key habit of success. Humans are unique because of our self-awareness. Unlike animals, which mostly react automatically to things, we can pause and choose how to respond. Being proactive means taking control of your reactions and shaping your own destiny. Take a simple example. Imagine you're having a picnic and it suddenly starts raining. You can let the rain ruin your day, or you can shift your focus and enjoy time with your friends, despite the weather. This mindset can be life-changing, even in the worst situations. Take Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the horrors of a concentration camp during World War II. Even though he had no control over his surroundings, he realized he could still control his response. Instead of giving in to despair, he imagined a future where he would teach others about surviving such hardships. This proactive attitude gave him the strength to endure and thrive after the war. You can develop this power, too. When faced with challenges at work or in your personal life, resist the urge to react immediately. Step back, think through the situation, and focus on what you can control. By doing so, you'll make better choices and improve your outcomes. Begin every task with a clear outcome. Now, let's try a thought experiment. Imagine it's 3 years from now, and you've passed away. At your funeral, your friends, family, and colleagues are giving eulogies. What do you want them to say about you? This might be tough to think about, but it's an important exercise. It helps you cut through the noise of daily life and focus on what really matters: your relationships, your accomplishments, and the legacy you leave behind. This brings us to the second habit. Start every task with a clear goal in mind. Every action you take happens twice, first in your mind, and then in real life. Before you do anything, you visualize it and make a plan. Some plans are simple, like a mental list of chores. Others are more detailed, like a business strategy. Either way, having a plan helps you stay on track. Think about building a house. Before you lay the foundation, you need a blueprint. Without one, the construction will be chaotic, full of mistakes, wasted materials, and a result you're unhappy with. This principle applies to all aspects of life. For short-term projects, like your work week, it's helpful to set clear goals. But the real power of this habit comes when you plan for the long term. Create a personal mission statement. Take some time to reflect on your true goals, values, and what success looks like for you. Write these down and use them to guide your decisions and measure your progress. When you know where you want to go, it's much easier to stay on course. Put first things first. It's 9 a.m. on Monday, and the office is buzzing. Phone is ringing, the printer is jammed, you've got a report to write, a project planned to draft, and now your boss is knocking at your door. What should you do first? Even when you know your goals, it can be hard to decide what to tackle. This is where the third habit comes in. Put first things first. In simple terms, this means prioritizing tasks based on urgency and importance. So how do you do that? There are many ways to manage time. Some people like making lists, while others prefer scheduling tasks in advance. But the real secret to effective work is prioritizing tasks, and you can do this with a time management matrix. Here's how it works. Grab a piece of paper and draw a grid with 4 boxes. In the top left box, write quadrant I. This is for tasks that are both urgent and important, like a sudden crisis. The top right box is quadrant 2, for tasks that are important but not urgent, like long-term projects. The bottom left is quadrant 3, tasks that are urgent but not very important, like answering the phone. Finally, the bottom right box is quadrant 4, things that are neither urgent nor important, like playing a game on your phone. Once you've sorted your tasks into these categories, it's easier to see where to focus. While quadrant I tasks are critical, quadrant 2 deserves your attention too. These tasks are often overlooked because they don't seem urgent, but they're essential for long-term success. Focusing on them early helps prevent future crises. Of course, you can't do everything yourself. Sometimes, putting first things first means delegating tasks that don't need your personal touch. Just remember, don't micromanage, focus on the results, not the tiny details. Always look for the win-win scenario. Imagine you're at the final game of a championship football season. One team will win, and the other will lose, no matter how well they played. Fortunately, not all of life works this way. In most situations, you can find a solution where everyone benefits. This brings us to the fourth habit, think win-win. In life, we often approach relationships with a win-lose mentality. This means we think that in order for us to succeed, someone else has to lose. While this might work in certain situations, it can be harmful in others. It turns everything into a competition, leading to distrust and conflict. Take a sales team, for example. If only the top seller gets a bonus, everyone else is left out. This win-lose setup can make people more focused on beating each other than on working together. Some might hide leads or even sabotage others, resulting in fewer overall sales. But there's a better approach, the win-win mentality. This is all about collaboration. In the sales team example, everyone could get a bonus if each person meets their individual goals. When one person wins, everyone benefits. This encourages teamwork and results in more success for the whole team. How do you shift to a win-win mindset? Start by adopting an abundance mentality. This means recognizing that success, joy, and profits aren't limited resources. There's enough for everyone. When you see that there's plenty to go around, it becomes easier to collaborate and create outcomes that work for all involved. With a win-win mindset, the biggest victories happen when you realize that everyone is on the same team. Build stronger relationships by truly understanding others. Imagine you're having trouble seeing clearly. Words are blurry, you're always squinting, and you can't recognize your friend from 10 steps away. It's time to visit the eye doctor. Usually, the doctor tests different lenses until you find the right one for you. But what if, instead of testing your eyes, the doctor just handed you her own glasses and said, "These work for me, try them"? You'd still have blurry vision and might even want to find a new doctor. That sounds silly, right? But many people do this when communicating. They offer advice or solutions before truly understanding the problem. Highly effective people take a different approach. They practice the fifth habit, listen before you speak. Good communication is key to any strong relationship. However, most people focus on being understood, not on understanding others. But real connection comes from truly listening. Listening isn't just hearing words. It's understanding the thoughts and feelings behind them. The best way to do this is through empathetic listening. This means tuning into someone's perspective, both intellectually and emotionally, and uncovering the deeper meaning behind their words. To practice empathetic listening, hold off on giving advice until you fully understand what the other person is trying to say. Instead of jumping in with your own story, try reflecting on their feelings. You could say something like, "That sounds frustrating," or "It seems like this is really important to you." This keeps the focus on the other person and shows you're trying to understand. Remember, this isn't a trick or shortcut. Empathetic listening takes genuine interest, time, and practice. But when you truly listen, people notice and appreciate it. Over time, this approach leads to more open, satisfying, and meaningful relationships. Create powerful synergy by fostering the open exchange of ideas. Let's take a walk through a rainforest. It's full of life, from birds in the trees to ants on the ground. Sunlight streams through the leaves, and everything is interconnected. The beauty and energy of the rainforest come not from just one thing, but from the way everything works together. In both nature and human relationships, synergy happens when the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Synergy is the creative force that emerges when different people come together in harmony. Effective people know how to tap into this by fostering open communication, which is the sixth habit. Every person is different, with their own strengths and weaknesses. When groups work together, they can support each other's strengths and overcome each other's weaknesses. The result is something better than any one person could achieve alone. This can happen anywhere. Take a classroom, for example. When students are encouraged to share ideas freely, they'll ask interesting questions, provide helpful answers, and offer unique insights. The discussion may stray from the lesson plan, but everyone will end up learning more. To create this kind of synergy, you need an environment where everyone feels safe and respected. This requires using other habits, like win-win thinking and empathetic listening. When people feel heard and valued, they're more likely to contribute and build on each other's ideas. One great example of synergy is David Lilienthal, who led the Atomic Energy Commission after World War II. He brought together a group of brilliant experts, each with strong opinions. To make sure they worked well together, he scheduled group meetings where everyone could share their hopes, concerns, and ideas. These open discussions created trust and understanding, leading to an incredibly creative and productive team. Just like the interconnected species in a rainforest, the most productive teams are those where members support and learn from each other. When people connect and collaborate, that's when synergy truly blooms. Make time to take care of yourself. Imagine you're a hardworking lumberjack. Every day, you go into the forest and chop down trees. At first, it's easy, a few swings, and the tree falls. But after a while, you notice something strange. Each tree is taking more and more effort. By the end of the week, cutting down one tree takes the whole day. What's the problem? The answer is simple. You've forgotten to take care of your tools. Your axe, which was once sharp and effective, is now dull. This story shows that even the most hardworking people will burn out if they don't take breaks. That's why the seventh habit of highly effective people is about rest and renewal. You must make time to take care of yourself. When you're focused on achieving your goals, it's easy to forget about your own well-being. But if you neglect yourself, all your other efforts will suffer. That's why it's so important to regularly refresh and renew yourself in 4 key areas. The first area is the physical dimension. This means looking after your body with regular exercise, healthy eating, and enough sleep. These habits will give you the energy to keep going strong for the long haul. The second area is the spiritual dimension. This is about staying connected to your values and finding peace in the world around you. Take time each day for quiet reflection, prayer, or meditation. These moments will help keep you grounded and ready to face challenges. The third area is the mental dimension. Just like your body, your mind needs exercise. Keep learning by picking up new skills, reading books, or even trying a new language. These activities keep your brain active and engaged with the world. The fourth and final area is the social and emotional dimension. Being productive doesn't mean you should ignore your relationships. In fact, it's essential to nurture both your personal and professional connections. Spend time with loved ones, chat with friends, and enjoy moments with your family. By taking care of yourself in these 4 areas, you will stay sharp, balanced, and ready to tackle whatever comes next. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button.